Right. Good morning, everyone. So let's begin our session and let's recap for a few minutes like what we have seen in the previous session, which is day 6. In the previous session, like we understood, actually we are discussing about S3, right? Storage service, simple storage service in S3. And anyhow, we know the main objective of S3. Hope you're able to see my screen, right? Yes. Can you see my screen now? Hope you're able to. Okay. So now we are discussing about S3 service. So S3 is mainly for storing the data. S3 stands for simple storage service, and we know the main objective of S3 is to store our data. It is simply like our Google Drive. It is simply like our Google Drive provided by Google. Okay. Google Drive, how we are going to store our data in the Google Drive. In the same way, we'll be storing our data in the storage service also, simple storage service also in AWS. So we came across, if you want to recap, you can go back and revise the previous sessions. What is the main objective of S3? And we have understood like we understood what is so far. So far we have understood what is simple storage service, what is S3 bucket. And we have also understood like how to upload the objects, how to upload objects into the S3 bucket. Go on mute, think. So we also understood like how to upload objects into the S3 bucket, how to enable ACLs. ACL stands for access control list. And we also understood versioning, what is versioning and all. And we understood static website hosting. So far, these are the things that we have understood. And now today, we will be understanding like what is cross-region replication under S3 itself. Under S3 itself, we have cross-region replication. Let's understand what is cross-region replication. So consider like I would like to explain to understand basic. Okay, before we see the practicals, we need to understand like what is cross-region replication. Consider we have two regions. Okay, we have US. Consider we have two regions. I have a region called AP South 1. I have a region called AP South 1, which is called Mumbai region. And I also have another region in the AWS, which is US East 1, something. Okay. I have two different regions. So now what I'm doing is I'm just uploading my objects. Okay. I would like to store some data in S3 in AP South 1. I have created a bucket. So, right, suppose if we want to store our data, usually we will prefer S3 service. In the S3 service, we'll create a bucket. I am going to create an S3 bucket. So I'll be creating an S3 bucket under one region, which is called AP South 1. I'll be creating S3 bucket under one region, which is called AP South 1. And after creating a bucket, I can store my files. After creating a bucket, inside the bucket, I will be storing my files. Okay. So I'm uploading my files into the S3 bucket. Do you know what is cross-region replication? Suppose if I create a bucket in AP South 1, and if I upload my files into the S3 bucket, which is present in AP South 1, the same objects that I am uploading, okay, consider I am uploading one object. Object is nothing but a file. Whatever the object that I am uploading in the S3 bucket, the same object will get replicated into the bucket which is created in US East 1. The same objects will be replicated. Replicated means the same objects will be duplicated. A copy of the object. If I'm uploading one PDF file here, the same PDF file will get duplicated. The same copy of the PDF file will be stored in another bucket present in another region. So when this will happen only when you enable cross-region replication. So now particularly we are talking about cross-region replication in the S3. Try to understand by the name itself, we can easily understand cross-region replication. Replica means what? The copy of any file, copy of anything is called replica. So what is cross-region? We have two regions. In our example, you can understand very easily. In our example, we have taken two regions. One is AP South 1, the other one is US East 1. What I'm doing is I'm going to create a bucket in I'm going to create a bucket in AP South 1, and I'm trying to upload some objects into the S3 bucket, which is present in AP South 1. Whatever the objects that I'm uploading here, the same objects will be uploaded into US West 1 also. This happens only when you enable cross-region replication. What is the necessity of it? Why we need to store objects in multiple regions? Why we need to enable cross-region replication? So we need to enable, we have a feature called cross-region replication because if something happens to AP South 1 region, usually there will be no downtime in the cloud. Usually the regions will not go down. We don't see any downtime for the region. Suppose in case because of some reasons, if the region goes down, if the AP South 1 region goes down, then if our objects are present in, if our objects are being stored in another region, we can able to access our data without having any downtime. The main object you see multiple zones. Okay, why we used to store our data, why we used to replicate our application in multiple regions. We have multiple regions here. We are going to use, we are going to have the advantage of multiple regions. Suppose whatever the infrastructure or whatever the application that you are going to build in one region, the same application can also be replicated. The same thing can be replicated into another region so that what happens is in case if you see any downtime, in one region, you will not see any downtime because you have the same data in another region. This is the main advantage of having replicating the things into another region. Hope you understood what is the meaning of cross-region replication. What we are doing is we are going to create two buckets in two different regions. Let's see the practicals. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create one bucket in AP South 1. At the same time, I'm also going to create a bucket in US East 1. And I will enable the feature called cross-region replication. I'll try to upload some objects into the AP South 1. I'll show you. Once I upload the object into AP South 1, immediately the same object will be replicated into US East 1 also. That is the main agenda. That's the main thing that will happen if we enable cross-region replication. Let's understand. So, okay, let me go to the AWS cloud. I'm going to the service called S3. Okay, if you want to access S3 service in the search bar, you can go to the S3 so that you can just quickly search S3 so that you will be navigating to the S3 dashboard. This is the S3 dashboard. This is how the S3 dashboard looks like. I'm already having a bucket here, which is created yesterday. I don't want this bucket for now. I'm going to delete this. I would like to do the practicals freshly from the beginning. I'm going to delete this bucket. How to delete this? Select the bucket. You have a delete option here. And it is asking, if I told you already, if the bucket is already having objects, you see, this is the bucket. When I just open this bucket, I'm having some files here. If the bucket is having objects, if the bucket is having files, then we cannot delete the bucket directly. What you have to do is you need to empty the bucket. You need to empty the bucket. When you are trying to delete the bucket, you cannot delete it. First, you need to delete the objects. Then only you can able to. Deleting the objects is nothing but emptying the bucket. You understood, right? Deleting the objects is nothing but emptying the bucket. Okay. So now let me go back and show you. This is the object. This is the bucket I'm having. And inside the bucket, I don't have any objects. I don't have any files. I just deleted. Now I'm going to delete this bucket. It will be deleted. It will be deleted usually. If there are no objects inside the bucket, usually it will get deleted. What it is asking to confirm the deletion, you need to enter the name of the bucket. This is the name of the bucket. And it is not enabled. The option is not enabled. Maybe we need to go for empty the bucket. First of all, empty the bucket. Use this one. Permanently delete. First empty the bucket and then you can go for deleting the bucket. Okay. Delete it. Hope you are practicing all these things. Okay. Once you practice only, you will understand more. Deleting the bucket. I'm trying to confirm deletion. We need to enter the name of the bucket. I don't know why it is not enabled. Go back to the buckets. Selecting the bucket. I'm going to delete it. Is asking my bucket. I'm providing the name of the bucket. Yes. Immediately after providing the name of the bucket, the delete option is enabled and we can able to delete the bucket. So now I don't have any buckets here. I'm going to create newly. I'm going to create newly. What is our agenda now? We need to understand what is cross-region replication. Anyhow, what is static website hosting? We understood yesterday. What is static website hosting? We understood yesterday. If you want to revise, you can go back to the previous session video and recorded session and you can understand. So for now, we will restrict to the cross-region replication. What I'm doing is I'm going to create a bucket in Mumbai region. You can see in which region we are for now. Currently we are in the Mumbai region. Okay, we are in the Mumbai region now. Mumbai region code is AP South 1. Now I'm going to create one bucket here. Let me create a bucket. I'm providing the bucket name as Mumbai bucket. You can provide any name, but for the namesake, for identifying the buckets easily, I'm just providing the name as Mumbai bucket. And I'm going to enable the ACLs. I told you what is the reason why we are enabling ACLs. If I want to provide access to my objects to the outside world, to the outside people, I need to enable ACLs. Coming down, I'm unblocking the public access. I'm removing the public. I am removing this block, unblocking the public access. I understand the settings, and I'm enabling the versioning. You see, I'm just enabling the versioning, and I'm going to create a bucket. You know what I'm doing? What are the things I'm doing? Mumbai bucket with the same name is already existing. You can provide a different name. I'm providing some unique name like Mumbai bucket 89525. Some unique name I'm providing. I already told you, like whenever you create a bucket, the name of the bucket should be unique. If someone has already created the bucket, if someone has already used this name for creating a bucket, if someone has already had a bucket with this name, you cannot create a bucket with the same name. Your bucket name should be unique. Bucket name must be unique. Okay. So I'm giving some unique name. I'm trying to create a bucket now. Yes, I could able to create the bucket now. Bucket is created. So what I did is I have created a bucket in the Mumbai region. This is Mumbai region, right? You can say this bucket is created in the Mumbai region. Now I would like to create a bucket in another region. Let me go back to the Amazon S3. Buckets. I'm going to create a new bucket. Let me create the bucket in Sydney region now. There is a region called Sydney. I'm going to name the bucket as Sydney bucket, some unique name I'm providing. And I'm enabling the ACLs here also. Coming down, I'm blocking the public access, acknowledge the settings, bucket version enabling. I'm going to create a bucket. That's it. I have created two buckets now so far. One is Mumbai bucket, the other one is okay. One is Mumbai bucket, the other one is Sydney bucket. Okay. Can you see here? I have created two buckets. Oh, sorry. I didn't select the region. The bucket is created in the same region. We need to delete this one. Let me delete it. We need to create the bucket inside. We need to create the bucket inside Sydney region. Okay. So for creating a bucket in the Sydney region, what I need to do is I'll switch to the Sydney region. This is Sydney, AP Southeast 2. I'll try to create a bucket here. I'll try to create a bucket here. Sydney bucket, some unique name I'm providing, enabling the ACLs. I'm unblocking the public access, acknowledging the settings. Bucket versioning is enabled. I'm just creating a bucket. So now I'm creating a bucket in the Sydney region. I'm creating a bucket in the Sydney region. I have two buckets. You can see now one bucket is created in AP South 1. The other bucket is created in this one, in this particular region, Sydney region. Okay. Fine. I have created this one. I'm going back to AP South 1. I'll try to see both the objects. Okay. I told you, right? So S3, Amazon S3 dashboard is global. Whatever the buckets you create, you can able to see in any of the particular region. If you are in the Mumbai region, it will list out all the buckets. It will list out all the buckets created in all the different regions. We have created bucket in Mumbai region and we have created bucket in Sydney region. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to the Mumbai bucket. I'm going to enable a feature called cross-region replication. I'm going to enable a feature called cross-region replication where we will see this cross-region replication. Let me go to the management. And here you will find something like replication rules. Okay, under management tab, there are many tabs, right? If you open the Mumbai bucket, there are many tabs like we have objects tab, properties, permissions, metrics. We have many tabs. And we have another, you please go to the tab called management tab. We have a management tab here. Under management tab, you will find replication rules. Just click on create a replication rule. Create a replication rule. So I'm just providing some name. You can provide any name. I'm just providing a name like my replica rule, right? And what I'm doing is I'm coming down slowly. You see the source bucket. What is the source bucket? Mumbai. Okay. Source bucket is Mumbai. And whatever the objects, you understood, like I explained to the concept of cross-region replication. Whatever the objects that we are going to upload, in the Mumbai region bucket, the same objects will be automatically replicated. The same objects will be automatically replicated in the US East 1 region, another region. We have created bucket in Sydney region. So whatever the objects that we upload here in the Mumbai, the same objects will be replicated in Sydney. So for that, what I'm doing is I'm going to make some settings here. It is asking to select the settings for source region. The source region is Mumbai only. I'm going to apply all the objects. So whatever the object that I'm going to upload in Mumbai region, it will apply for all the objects in this bucket. Okay, it will apply for all the objects in the bucket. Whatever the objects we upload from the Mumbai bucket, in the Mumbai bucket, this replication rule will apply for all the objects. And it is asking to choose the destination bucket. Choose the bucket in this account, yes. So in the same AWS account only, I have another bucket which is called Sydney. Okay, you can provide the bucket name. Or otherwise you can browse. You can select the Sydney one, choose the path. Okay, you have a browse option here. Why? Because I have the bucket in the same region. Okay, I'm choosing the bucket in the same account. If you have a bucket in another account also, you can go for it. That time you need to choose this option, specify a bucket in the another account. For now, I have a bucket in the same AWS account only, but in a different region. I'm choosing this one. I'm going for browse option, selecting the Sydney region, Sydney bucket. And it is asking like this is the Sydney region. Okay, so now what I am doing is, it is asking for IAM role. Anyhow, for now, you don't know what is IAM. Actually, the IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. We will be understanding, okay, once we are done with S3. Once we are done with S3 service, we will be understanding what is IAM. IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. For now, if you are not able to understand what is IAM also, that's not a problem. Slowly you will understand what is IAM role and all. For now, what I'm doing is I'm just creating a new IAM role. I have three options here. Create a new IAM role. Choose from the existing IAM roles. Enter IAM role ARN. There are three options here. For now, I'm selecting create a new role, create a new IAM role. That's it. And coming down, what I'm doing is I'm going to save this. Okay, I'm just going to save the settings. That's it. I have enabled cross-region replication feature. You understood, right? It is asking finally, you want to replicate the existing objects. So far, we don't have uploaded any objects. But anyhow, I want to replicate for the existing objects also. You can keep this option so that it will replicate the existing objects in the Mumbai bucket. Otherwise, you can keep no. For now, I'm just keeping yes. I'm submitting it. I'm going to one second. 1 second. I'm going back again. Let me show you how we are going to create a replication rule. First, I'm opening this Mumbai bucket. And here in the Mumbai bucket, what I'm doing is like I'm going for the management tab. Under management tab, we have an option called replica rule. This is the my replica rule we have created. So you can open this replica rule. Okay. And I think the replica rule is created. The replica rule is created. Let's see now. Anyhow, we have replicated. We have created a replication rule. This is the replication rule. My replica rule status is enabled. The destination bucket is Sydney. So whatever the objects, okay, whatever the objects that you are going to upload into the Mumbai region, I'm going back. I'm going to upload some objects into the Mumbai region. Let me try uploading any single object. If I upload any particular object into the Mumbai region, the same object will be uploaded into the same region. Let me show you this. This is the diagram I'm just uploading. This is the image I'm going to upload. And here the destination settings, I'm just selecting the permissions I would like to provide grant public access. I understand the risk of settings and I'm uploading it. I'm just uploading it. Okay. Anyhow, you understood already how to upload a particular object into the S3 bucket. I have uploaded an object into the S3 bucket. You might understand now I am uploading objects into the Mumbai bucket. After some time, you can verify, you can go to the Sydney bucket. Okay. Please refresh and you can go to the Sydney bucket. Please go to the Sydney bucket. And you can wait, you need to wait for some time. Okay, you need to wait for some time. You see in the Sydney bucket. Are we able to see the same object in the Sydney bucket? Did I uploaded it in the Sydney bucket? No. So I just uploaded the object into the Mumbai bucket only. I just uploaded the object into the Mumbai bucket. So whatever the object that I am uploading into the Mumbai bucket, the same object will be replicated to the Sydney bucket. This is how we have set, we made the settings. For this purpose, we made the settings. Hope you understood what I did under cross-region replication. Let me try to upload one more bucket here. I'm going back to the Mumbai bucket. And I would like to upload one more image or one more file. I'm just adding file, one more file here. You can select any of the file. I'm just, yeah. I'll see this, okay. I'm just uploading this Docker image, selecting it. Okay. I have uploaded one more file. You can see now, let me open and show you. In the Mumbai bucket, I have two regions. In the Mumbai bucket, I have uploaded two objects. One is this DevOps one, other one is Docker one. I have uploaded two objects. So once after uploading the two objects, I'm going back to the Sydney bucket. I'll see now here whether the second object is created or not. The second object is uploaded here or not. The Docker object is uploaded. You see the Docker image is also got uploaded here. This is called cross-region replication. Any questions here in understanding what is cross-region applications? I created two buckets. You understood, right? Whatever the objects you upload into the Mumbai bucket, the same objects will be replicated into the Sydney bucket. This is entirely because of we are enabling a feature called cross-region replication, where that feature is go to the management tab. Go to the management tab. You need to create a replication rule. Provide the name of the replication rule. You need to choose the source bucket name and you need to choose the destination bucket name. And you need to select, okay, for now we have selected new IAM role. If you, usually we don't know what is actually IAM role, okay. For now, we don't know what is IAM role. You will understand, definitely you will understand in the upcoming sessions what is IAM. IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. You will understand slowly, okay, no worries. These are the things like, okay, this is how we are enabling the replication role in the S3. Let's go back to the another one. Let's go back to the another topic. We are done with the cross-region replication. Any questions here in understanding cross-region replication? If you are done with, okay, if you are good with that, let's go to the another one, which is called storage classes. Okay, let's talk about the storage classes in S3.
Actually, I have one question.
Yeah, please.
Like we have been creating in cross region, right? Like another region we have been creating and we have been storing in another region, right? Do we have option to create in the same region?
No, the feature itself is mainly for replicating the objects in another region. Okay, so even we can create an objects, we can create multiple buckets in the same region.
Okay.
And you're asking like,
We can replicate in the same region, like if you want to replicate the objects into the same region buckets, like I have two
so
buckets, I want to
what is
replicate
the
into
purpose?
another.
What is the purpose? Like I so usually if we want, we don't have that feature to replicate the same objects in the single region. But the purpose of this cross-region replication is, suppose if one region goes failure, if there is a downtime for one region, we can able to access the objects from the another region.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can copy the same. We can create one more bucket and we can copy the objects into the same objects into the another bucket, right? That is called replication, right?
Yes, yes.
So we can do that, but there is no particular feature like where we can replicate the object into the same region.
Okay, okay.
We can do that manually. Okay, we can do that manually. So what we can do is, so if I have a bucket here, right? So I have some objects here in the same bucket. So I will create one more bucket with a different name. Or usually we cannot create two buckets with same name, right? Bucket name must be unique.
Like log kind of thing. So suppose if you want to log anything, so in the same region, if I want to log it,
Yeah,
can I
we
use
need to
that?
do it manually.
Okay, okay,
We have to create it manually with a unique bucket name. We need to create a unique bucket name and we need to do it manually.
okay, okay,
So but there is a specific advantage of having this CRR, cross-region replication. Okay,
okay.
right. So let's understand now what is this storage classes. What is S3 storage classes? Before we understand the storage classes, let's understand what is actually a storage class. Okay, where we are finding out the name here in the storage class. Okay, let me show you in the AWS, in the Amazon S3 service itself. If I'm creating an object, okay, if I'm creating a bucket, this is the Mumbai bucket I've created. And when I'm uploading objects into the Mumbai bucket, if I if I see each and every object here, I have uploaded two objects. One is this DevOps diagram one object, and the type of the object is PNG extension, and the type of this object is JPG. Okay, fine. So now you can see the storage class of each and every object here. The object you are uploading into any of the bucket by default will be having a storage class called standard. Can you see here the storage class? We are now talking about the storage classes in S3. By default, the storage class is standard. What is the standard storage class? When I'm opening this, you can see the storage. You can see what kind of storage class it is. Storage class is standard. Amazon S3 offers a variety of storage classes. There are different storage classes for different purposes. Okay. There are different storage classes for different purposes. We need to understand like what is the use of each and every storage class. Can you see? Here, I'm going to show you one documentation. Okay. I'm going to show you one document so where we can easily understand like what is the use of different storage classes. We have a storage class called S3 standard, and we have a storage class like S3 intelligent tiering. Okay. And we have a storage class called S3 standard infrequent access, S3 standard infrequent access. And we have S3 different things, S3 express one zone, glacier instant retrieval, flexible retrieval. There are different types of storage classes. Anyhow, we don't need to understand all these things. Okay, we don't need to understand all these things, but we should understand what is the purpose of storage class here. If you at least understand the concept of what is the storage class, why we need to discuss about the storage class and all, then you will be fine. You can see here. Let me show you. I'm uploading some objects here. Each and every object that I'm uploading will have a storage class called standard. What is the meaning here? Let me explain you. Suppose, let me take an example. We have we have some applications like Netflix, okay, Amazon Prime, all these things, okay, where we will be calling them as OTT platforms. OTT platforms. Do you know actually what happens is even in the Netflix or Amazon Prime, in all these OTT platforms, whenever a new movie is released, right? Whenever they are going to upload a new movie into these OTT platforms, usually they expect high traffic. Suppose if they announce that they are going to release the movie, they are going to release the movie into OTT on this Friday. So usually people will be waiting to watch that, and usually they expect high traffic. High traffic in the sense more number of users. High traffic means in the terminology, okay, in the IT terminology, what is high traffic actually? High traffic means more number of people will try to access that movie. Okay, right? So you know where these people like Amazon Prime or Netflix Okay, where they are going to upload? They are the clients of Amazon. Okay, usually they use the services like Amazon S3. They use the services like Amazon Storage Service. They'll keep their movie here in the Amazon Storage Service, and they will choose the storage class as standard. They will choose the storage class as standard. So why? Because the storage class standard, S3 standard, is mainly for frequently accessed data. Frequently accessed data. They know that they can predict. This is a new movie. They are going to release a new movie into the OTT. So usually most of the people will be waiting to watch that. Usually there will be high traffic, and most of the people will frequently access. Okay, there will be frequently, this particular thing will be frequently accessed by the public. So what I'm trying to say is, if any data is being stored into this particular service, and if you feel that that data is the frequently accessed one, that particular data will be accessed by the public frequently. Frequently in the sense more number of times. Okay, so they'll keep the storage class as standard. And there are other storage classes also. Let me edit this one and show you what are the different storage classes we have. We have a storage class called standard. This is mainly for frequently accessed data. And we have another thing called intelligent tiering. Consider they are going to let me tell you another example. Anyhow, if they are uploading a new movie, by default they will choose the storage class as standard. Why? Because based on the storage class, the billing will be. Usually they have to pay the bill based on the storage class. If they choose the storage class as standard, they need to pay more. They need to pay more. Why? Because you see here, this particular data, what they are uploading here, whatever the data that they are uploading here, this is mainly for frequently accessed data with a very milliseconds access. User need not to wait until user need not to wait for some time to access the data. Okay, this is mainly for frequently accessed data. Suppose if you are uploading some data, and that data will usually, we cannot predict the access patterns. If you are not able to predict the access pattern, maybe sometimes that will be accessible by the more number of users, and sometimes we may not expect the high traffic. If you are not able to identify whether it is a frequently accessed data or infrequently accessed data, you can go for intelligent tiering. Any questions here in understanding? I'm giving you the basic idea in understand what is the storage class, why we are going to choose the storage class in S3. We have different types of storage classes like S3, intelligent tiering. We can see here, these are the list of storage classes. Standard 1A, one zone 1A. You need to know the basic thing. If it is, I'm giving you some example, like if it is a new movie, definitely that will be stored into the standard storage class, because this is designed mainly for frequently accessed data with a very milliseconds access. There will be no latency. Latency in the sense there will be no delay. If a user sends a request, immediately that will be accessible. Immediately that can be accessible by the public. With a very milliseconds access, they can able to access. That is called standard. And if you are not able to understand whether that can be frequently accessed or whether that cannot be accessed frequently, if you are in a dilemma, if you are unknown the access patterns of this, please go with the intelligent tiering. Okay, you don't know, we are unable to guess whether this data will be frequently accessed by the users. Sometimes this may be accessed frequently, and sometimes this may not be accessed frequently. If you are having some unpredictable access patterns, please go with the intelligent tiering. The bill that you are paying for standard storage class will be more than the intelligent tiering. If you choose the storage class, usually you have to pay more because of choosing the standard, because this is designed for frequently accessed data. And if you are choosing the intelligent tiering, the bill will be less comparatively. Okay, the bill you are going to pay will be less when compared with the standard storage class. And if you choose the standard 1A, standard IA, okay, what is this? This is infrequently accessed data. If you feel like, suppose if you are releasing a movie, if you are uploading a new movie into the OTT platform, okay, and it's been a month or 2 months. Usually after 1 month or 2 months, a very less number of people will try to access that. And if you decided that, or if you can think of a old movie, you can think of any old movies. So even they are uploading the old movies into the OTTs. And if they feel, usually what we feel, if it is a old movie, we won't we cannot, how we can understand is like very less number of people will access the data. You understand the terms frequently accessed data, infrequently accessed data, like you see, infrequently accessed data once in a month, okay, or otherwise 15 days within a 15. So like that, if the frequently, if they think that people are not going to access the data very frequently, then they will go with the standard 1A. Try to understand what I'm trying to say is, if you store your data in the standard storage class, you have to pay the bill will be usually more. When you store your data in the intelligent tiering, the bill will be very less comparatively to the standard one. If you store your data in the standard 1A, the bill will be even less when compared to the intelligent tiering. Any questions here? Any questions?
Hello.
Yes, please.
Yeah, before creating object only, the automatically storage class will be taken as standard, or we need to select a standard.
Usually, whenever you are uploading a new object, by default, it will choose the storage class as standard.
Okay.
If you don't want to pay more bill, okay, why? Because if it chooses the standard storage class, usually the bill we need to pay is comparatively high. And if you want to change the storage class, you can change the storage class to some other. And there is a life cycle management, okay? There is a concept of life cycle management. And in the life cycle management, we usually manage all these things. So for the
Okay.
first 30 days, my storage class will be standard. And after 30 days, my storage class will be intelligent tiering. After the next 90 days, my storage class will be standard IA. You got it right. There is a concept of life cycle management. You see, there is a concept of life cycle management. Under life cycle management, we will be managing all these things. For the first 30 days, my storage class will be standard. For the next 30 days, my storage class will be intelligent tiring. Like that, we can set it up based on this, based on the life cycle management. Usually, it automatically gets moved. You don't need to move it. Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions, Shailja? By default, the day you are uploading the data, by default, it will go to the what? It will go to what? If you are not managing any life cycle, if we are not managing any life cycle, by default, it will choose standard storage class only. Managing a life cycle, it will go based on the life cycle management. We will see, we'll understand what is life cycle management under.
Okay. And Vamshi, one more thing. You said right. By default, it will take standard only. So once it has taken the standard, and can we have like we can change the standard to other storage classes as well, right?
Yes, we can change it. If
Oh.
we don't want that
Mm.
to be there in the standard storage class, we can change it. We have an edit option here. You can see. I just uploaded an object here. Okay, in the Mumbai bucket, I have uploaded an object. And by default, what showing is, by default, it is showing like if the storage class is standard. You can
Oh.
edit it. You can choose the object. You have an option here. If you come down, when you go to the storage class, you have an option to edit. If you want, you can choose the intelligent tiering and you can save the changes.
Okay. And if you want to make any default thing also, you can change by using lifecycle management, right? Okay.
Yes, yes. We have a lifecycle management. By default, you can make the changes. Okay. I have this one. You can see here. Just now I have changed the storage class to intelligent tiering.
Yes.
You can make it as anything. So why we need to change the storage class? Because if I am able to predict that this particular data that I am uploading
Yes.
will be very less frequently accessed. If it is a very less frequently accessed data, I'll go to the lower storage classes,
Cost optimization. Yes.
cost
Yes.
optimization.
Yes.
I don't want to pay more. Okay.
Yes.
So it is providing the storage service. Okay. It is also providing, just now I gave you some examples, right? Like OTT platforms. They used to store the service here. They used to store their data here. And they will move they have the concept of storage classes. Why? Because access is also very much important, right? Storage is not only important. If you store here and if anyone is trying to access your data, and if the latency is there, usually people won't choose your OTT platform if there is a latency, right? They'll go for other options.
Yes.
That's the reason why storage class is also very important. So this is how actually they choose the storage class. They'll go for the lifecycle management. First, let's understand like we have the different storage classes. You don't need to remember each and everything, but you should have the basic idea of what is storage class, why we need to go for the storage classes. If it is a very frequently accessed data, usually we will go and store that in the standard storage class only. And each and every storage class is designed for a specific purpose. This is for frequently accessed data. This is for unknown. This is for unknown access patterns. You don't know. If you are able to predict the data is frequently accessed, yes, we will choose this one. And if we don't know the access pattern, we will go for this one, intelligent tiering. And if we are confirmed that the data is infrequently accessed by the people, then we'll go for it. Okay. So like that, each and every one, suppose if you see here, I'll go for the other ones. Suppose if you want to just store the data, if you just want to store the data, and usually we won't access, okay? We won't access. You can go for the other options like Glacier Deep Archive. Okay. The data accessed less than once in a year. If you feel that your data will not be accessed, okay, people, any one person or 2%, they will access your data once in a year. Then you'll go for Glacier Deep Archive. Got it? So this is how actually we choose the storage classes. Most of the times people will go for standard in the beginning and they will manage the life cycle to intelligent tiering, standard 1 year, and they'll go for Glacier Deep Archive. Okay, let me show you. There is one more thing called life cycle management. Okay, if I go to the Mumbai bucket and I have a management, okay. Can you see here we have an option called life cycle under management tab. We have another concept. We have one more option here to choose, which is called life cycle rules. I'm just going for create a life cycle rule. Okay. Create a life cycle rule. One second. Yes. Can you see here? When I'm selecting, you see here we have multiple options. Anyhow, we'll try to understand. But I'm just trying. I'm just going to explain you like what is the objective of this life cycle configuration. Okay. So our aim is to understand what is cross-region replication. We understood it, and we also understood what is storage classes. What are the storage classes? Different types of storage classes, where we move our objects to the in which storage class we prefer. Usually, whenever we upload the data, if it is a frequently accessed data, we choose one storage class. If it is an infrequently accessed data, we'll choose another one. Like that, we have some storage classes. At the same time, we also have a lifecycle management. So usually, you need to choose this lifecycle management from here. Go to the bucket, and we have an option here. You can choose the management tab. Under management tab, we have a lifecycle rules. Create a lifecycle rule. Please go ahead and create a lifecycle rule. You need to provide some rule like this. My life cycle rule. I'm just giving some name. You can provide any name. I'm going for it is applying. Okay. If you want to limit the scope of this rule using one or more filters, you can filter it. I just wanted to apply it for all the objects in the bucket. I want to apply this all of the objects in the bucket. I acknowledge the settings. And here in the life cycle, there are some actions. Okay. In the life cycle management, there are some actions. So if you want to move the current versions of the objects between the storage classes, okay, there are many options here. Okay. For now, leave about all these things. I'm just selecting the very first one, which is mainly for moving, for the current versions. Okay. If you upload an object, the object will be moved from one particular storage class to another particular storage class. Let me show you. I'm just selecting the first option, transition current versions of objects between the storage classes. We'll understand, okay? We'll understand the meaning of the different ones also. But try to understand the basic one, transition current versions of objects between the storage classes. When we coming down, we have an option for choosing the current versions of objects. You can keep here, suppose, for all the objects I'm uploading in this bucket, okay? I'm applying this rule on the Mumbai bucket. Whatever the objects that you are uploading on the Mumbai bucket, for that, we are setting up the lifecycle management. What is the lifecycle management? I'm applying to all the objects in this bucket. I'm selecting some transition between the storage classes. The very first one is choose the storage. You can choose the storage class here. Standard IA. We know, right? We have different storage classes. Standard IA. Okay, like this. So what I'm doing is we don't have the standard one here. Anyhow, by default, suppose if you are choosing a store, if you are okay, if you are uploading any particular object, by default it will go to the standard one. So if I'm selecting here the storage class, I'm selecting here standard 1A. I would like to keep some 30 days, okay? After 30 days after object creation. I'm going to add this one after 90 days. Okay, it will be there for 90 days. And I'm going to select one more one. I would like to keep this object in one zone 1A for 120 days. Okay, so like this. So I just wanted to mention all these things. Can you understand here what I'm trying to say is you want to keep your objects, okay, for the first 30 days, the objects will be there in the standard. After 30 days, your objects will be moved to the standard 1A and it will be there for 30 days. And after that, it will be moving to the intelligent tiering. The objects will be there for 90 days. Your objects will be moved to the one zone 1A later. And the days, it will be there for 120 days like that. So you can set up some transition between the storage classes. This is how usually people manage the life cycle. This is how usually we move the objects from one object to the, one storage class to the another storage class. Got it? So basic idea, this is the basic idea. You understood what is cross-region replication. You also understood the storage classes. If you are very clear in understanding the storage classes concept, leave about the different types of storage classes. Why? Because they will be modifying. You see, if you see some storage classes today, tomorrow they might add some other storage classes also. Are you getting my point? They will also upgrade. Suppose if there is no storage class called Glacier today, maybe next month they will add some other storage class called Glacier Retrieval Access. They will add some different names based on the updates, okay? Based on the updates and based on the drawbacks they have, they are going to make some other storage classes also. You don't need to remember all the storage classes we have. We can see that, we can go through the documentation and we can read them, we can understand. But try to understand the basic idea of storage classes. We have the storage classes. Once you have the storage classes, you can manage them. You can manage the transition of storage classes by using this lifecycle management. Hope you are able to understand these three things now: cross-region, storage classes, and lifecycle management. Any questions in understanding what is storage classes and what is lifecycle management?
Vamshi, in lifecycle management, just now you have kept like for 30 and 90 and 150 days, right? After completing 150 days, does it comes to again standard, or the cycle will be repeated again for next 30 days again standard again? This will continue.
Sorry. So if suppose usually what happens is, suppose, yes, the last one is like 150 days, right? If the last one is 150 days. So if the object is going to stay in the Glacier flexible retrieval for for 150 days, so usually later we need to see this is how actually we need to move. Okay. Suppose if you are managing the life cycle, 90 more, we should give the 90 more. You see, 150. When I'm giving some 250, something like that, it is giving some, you need to add some 90 days more. 150 plus 90, what is this? 240. You can give valid value 240. So like this, so this is we cannot add another transition. Can you see here? This option is not enabled. This option is not getting enabled. Add transition is not getting enabled. I have a storage class. I have added all the store. I have this option for the one which I have chosen here, transition between the storage classes. So I'm able to add these things. So once this cycle is completed, usually what happens is like you will get some notification. You will get some notification. So based on this, like your object is there here in the 240 days. If you want to change the life cycle, you can change the life cycle. If you want to change the life cycle, you can change the life cycle. Otherwise, if you want to store it permanently in some other, if you want to remove the life cycle, and if you want to store if you want to make it as the default one, you see, this is the life cycle we are managing for the first 250 days. Okay, can you understand?
Yes, yes,
This
yes.
is the life cycle we are managing for totally how many days? Just understand that we are managing this life cycle for the first 1 year. If you calculate all these things, like it will be some 1 year around. After 1 year, usually what you need to do is you will go to the object. By default, if you see, like if this object cannot be accessed by the public anyhow, you can directly edit the storage class and you can keep this one as glacier deep retrieval, and you will remove the lifecycle management. So the lifecycle management will be usually they will maintain only for the first few days. They are going to keep or they are uploading the object. Later, the object will be there in a one storage class. They won't manage the lifecycle. After that, lifecycle is not at all necessary. I don't know who asked this question. Now you can able to understand Chandrakant, right?
Yes, I'm able
You
to.
understood, right? So for the very first few days, for the first 1 year or first 2 years, they can manage the life cycle. After that, they'll keep one storage class and they will store that data permanently here in one storage class. Why? Because nobody will access that after 1 year. They feel that nobody will access, and usually if anyone access also, that is fine. With some latency, they will access it.
Yeah, fine. I got it.
Got it, right? Okay. This is how usually people go for this life cycle management. And we have some other options here, like you can see here, transfer acceleration. Let's understand the concept of transfer acceleration. To understand this one, let's see, let's see, we'll understand transfer. What is transfer acceleration? Okay. Okay. You see here, based on the users also, we'll create infrastructure. Do you know, usually if we are in India, right? We are in India and the application is, usually we are using an application which is based out of US, or of the US people is using the application which is based out of India. So usually if we are creating infrastructure in Mumbai region, consider this is the Mumbai region, the very first one I'm showing you, this is the Mumbai region. The people who are accessing the application from the Mumbai region are nearer to this particular region, they won't see much latency. They won't see much latency. And people very nearer to that particular region. Okay, if this is a Mumbai region and people who are very nearer to that particular region, they won't see much latency. And if the people who are in the Mumbai region, if they are trying to access the application from US East 1 or in another region, which is very far away from his, consider this particular person is accessing the application from another region, different region, which is far away. Usually they will see some latencies. Latency in the sense, if he is able to access within 5 milliseconds and from this particular region, and if he wants to access the application from another US East 1, usually the latency will be there. Definitely it will be some 10 milliseconds or 15 milliseconds. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is people who are able to access the application from the nearest regions, they won't see much latency. Who are trying to access the application which is present, their infrastructure is present in some different region and they are able to access it, definitely it will take some time than usual. Okay, than usual. Let me show you. There is a concept of transfer acceleration here. The buckets will go here and properties. See, transfer action. So by default, the transfer acceleration is disabled. Okay, by default, the transfer acceleration is disabled. You can enable the transfer acceleration and you can save the changes. Okay, why we are enabling this transfer acceleration? For the fast data transfers, and it will incur an additional fee. Okay, if you are enabling the feature called transfer acceleration, it will incur the additional charges. You need to pay more charges because what is happening here? If you are enabling the transfer acceleration, the same data will be copied. Whatever the data you see here, whatever the data you have. Sorry. Okay. So whatever the data you have in the Mumbai region, if the people are trying to access the data from, if the people are trying to access the application which is present in Mumbai region, that is fine. Okay, they won't see any latencies. But if US people are trying to access the application which is present in the Mumbai region, they will see some latency issues. That's the reason why we are enabling the transfer acceleration so that the data will be replicated. Okay, the data will be replicated so that they won't even see the latencies. But we need to pay additional charges for it. we need to pay additional charges for it. If you don't understand this transfer acceleration, we will discuss this in detail with some more examples in the next session. You have any questions in understanding here? These three things: cross-region replication, storage classes, and lifecycle management. We'll understand. Okay, we will try to understand this transfer acceleration in the next session with some other examples. So it requires some time. Okay. Any questions in understanding these three things: cross-region replication, storage classes, lifecycle management? You can refer the storage classes documentation. There is a documentation. Okay, if you want to go a deep dive, if you want to give a deep dive, you can go to the AWS documentation, search with storage classes in Amazon, storage classes in Amazon S3. Please go for it and have a look at it. Okay. What are the different storage classes we have currently? You can go for it and you can go through the documentation so that you'll understand if you have any questions on. Okay. So please go through the recorded session. If you have any questions, we'll discuss in the tomorrow session also. No problem. We'll continue tomorrow with this transfer acceleration and encryption, and then we will move to the another concept called IAM. Okay, IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. This is a very, very important concept, very, very important thing here in the AWS. Not only the AWS, everywhere it will be useful. IAM, any cloud, in any cloud, it will be usually the basic thing that we need to understand. Identity and access management. We'll start with this once we are done with S3. Any questions in understanding S3, these things? Please ignore if you are not able to understand transfer acceleration. We'll see with some more examples in the next session. Thank you all. Please let me know if you have anything.